Hello, everybody. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Corey.
Every week we discuss and review a new book, movie, album, TV show, or honestly any piece of art or culture that ourselves and you guys choose. This is Mind Control. So there was these people who were being kidnapped and mind controlled.
Exactly, dude. And I can totally see how that happened. Because, like, imagine if you were just given acid or just drugs like that that are so disorienting for hours and hours on end and never being able to come down and not feeling safe and having somebody tell you things and accuse you of things, you know? Yeah.
Mind control. That's how we do it, baby. GG's Mind Control.
On today's episode of Mind Control, we're going to be discussing the 2020 Disney and Pixar Animation Studios film, Soul. Soul premiered at the London Film Festival on October 11, 2020, and was set to be released in theaters in the US, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the film was released on December 25, 2020 through the streaming service Disney+. Soul was written by Pete Docter, Mike Jones, and Kent Powers, and the film was directed by Pete Docter, who previously directed Inside Out as well as Up. Soul stars Jamie Foxx as Joe Gardner, a middle school band teacher with big dreams, and Tina Fey as 22, an unborn soul that can't quite see the point in living. In the film, Joe Gardner finally receives his big break to play piano at the best jazz club in town. But after receiving his opportunity, he heads home to get ready for his big night out and tragically steps in a manhole and is transferred to the great before. Joe manages to trick Death and gets paired with 22 to help her find her spark while he attempts to get back to his own life. Soul also stars Graham Norton, Donnell Rawlings, Questlove, Angela Bassett, Daveed Diggs, and Rachel House. The music for the film was done by two teams, one of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and the other of John Batiste, who is the band leader of the Stephen Colbert Show with his own band, Stay Human. Soul puts forth an important lesson about life. It is meant to be lived. This is Disney and Pixar Animation Studios, Soul.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mind Control. It is I, Audible 44, or Mikey, and this is Universe, or Corey.
Yeah, Corey. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
We are doing Soul today, the movie, the Pixar movie. This is definitely something different than we've ever done before. Not only because it's really new, but it's a fucking cartoon, and it's I really enjoy. I've always enjoyed fucking cartoon movies, and you know, even as I've gotten older, you know, obviously when I was younger, but I really always enjoyed cartoon movies with like really deep meanings behind them, like even Lion King type shit and all that. So like this one, I first I heard about it so much, it was kind of like the Kendrick Lamar thing for me personally, like because like I took for a long time for me to finally like give Kendrick Lamar like a chance, because so many people talked about him. But that's kind of like the same thing with this book. But I mean the movie,
dude. Honestly, if you didn't bring it up for the podcast, I probably would have never saw it. I didn't really know too much about it. Like, I'd seen it on Twitter, like people saying, "Oh, Soul is amazing," and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And then I saw it was Disney, and I was like, I'm not gonna check it out." Like, I didn't see scenes, I didn't know how to do anything with jazz. And then you told me, and then when it first started, because we watched it here, I was kind of hungover, so it was like a good movie to watch, like for that, you know. Yeah. And then in the beginning, when like, you know, when it started out, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be dope!" Like, it's all about music, you know. And then he got his hit shot. But then when he died, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I didn't see that coming, you know. So it was a good movie. But I've never been big on. I guess I'm not just big on the Disney movies as much anymore. Some of them are great, like you said, like Lion King and shit. Like, I love some of those, and I do like animated. But yeah, sometimes they don't, like, you know, like Up. Like, Up is good, but it's not my favorite. You know, like I'm not gonna throw it on. Yeah, it's cool. It reminded me of this because Up is very like everything that happens. You're like, "Oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Oh shit, I didn't see that coming." And that's kind of how I felt with Soul. Like, it was like a constant, like, "Oh, okay." Like, that's what this, like, I didn't know it was about him dying and then about him trying to get back. Like, I didn't know about any of that, you know? So it was cool. I did like it. It was enjoyable.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I've always loved movies like that are like, I feel like the first one that I ever saw with this type of concept was Osmosis Jones. And it's like, you remember that? Dude. So that was like that was a banger, dude. And it's like, I've always liked movies where it depicts like the inside, or like just like gives these like narratives and like actual characters, you know, I don't know, just in deep ways, kind of. Like Osmosis Jones was like the germs and shit inside of a body, as if the body was like a world. and like all these different germs and sicknesses and all that shit had fillings and people controlled the brain and all that. I barely remember it, but yeah.
Bro, it's funny that stop it, Shetcher. It's funny that you bring that up because I actually just saw that movie not that long ago.
Wow,
it was probably like a year ago, but I mean, still, that's not that long ago.
For the first time you saw it?
No, just like over. Like it was on, like I fucking forgot that movie even existed, and then like it was on, so I watched it, and because once I saw it, like I was like, oh, Osmosis Jones, like I'm pretty sure I've seen that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I put it on, and I was like, oh shit, I remember this. And dude, it's still such a good movie because I like to like it has like a lot of like like not facts, but like it's about the actual body and like it's a cool movie. And then I feel like that one's almost there's kind of like a lot of adult like I like when cartoons do that too, and there's like references that are for both,
This movie
like
was
like Shrek does that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this movie had so many like adult jokes, and it was like literally the first time we watched it, I was 10 times more into it than Mila was. Like I fucking love. I was on the edge of my seat, and she was like basically not even paying attention towards the middle of it.
Hey, bro, is am I tripping? Can you talk again?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
check? Hello. Are you hearing just a vacuum cleaner? Probably. That was probably a vacuum cleaner or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, and it started right when you started talking again. I was like, what the fuck is that coming from your voice? All right, for sure. Yeah, no, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What was I saying?
You were saying that there was like a lot of like deep and like adult things in this,
and that I was more into it than Mila was, which is kind of wild. And it's
I could see that.
So like a lot of the jokes that I really thought were dope, like when they would call back to who her original mentor was and how it was like Muhammad Ali and then all these other people, like that was super fucking dope. And I guess that there were a lot of different on one of the things it showed like a picture of a bunch of different name tags of people who used to be her mentors. And there was like a bunch of different people
on the wall.
On the wall, yeah. If you look at the names, I think there was like Martin Luther King and all these other Einstein and stuff like that.
I saw that, and I guess there was a couple people in there from like I don't know if it was like Pixar that had like passed away and like worked on the animation and shit. I guess their names are on there too. Yeah, I read about that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't really look into it too much, but I saw that. I was like, oh, that's dope.
That's what I try. I try not to do that. I try not to do that with this one. Like I read the Wikipedia, but that was the basis of really what I wanted to do because with this movie, it wasn't like. There's obviously no history to it. I mean, I've seen that, there's no really big, huge, like historic type of things we could talk about. But at the same time, I guess that this was the first release, the first time any Pixar movie was released, not released in theaters. And I don't know. I think that I wanted to talk about that maybe a little bit is like the idea of movie theaters even being a thing anymore. Like, and like this being the future. To me, it feels like this is the better way. Like I would much rather be home having a nice and have a drink and rather than the movie theater for 90% of what I watch, I would say. There's definitely 10% of like action movies or things like that I'd want to watch in a theater, but I'd rather be home and like in my bed, like having a drink, not have to worry about driving home, stuff like that.
I don't know, man. Like I'd have to disagree. Like some movies for sure, like Soul, like of course, like I didn't need to go to no movie theater to fucking see that. I could have watched it. Like watching it here on my couch was perfect for that. But yeah, I guess you said that like 10% of movies, but there are some movies like the new King Kong Godzilla that's coming out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna watch that on my phone.
Like I want to go see that at the fucking movies if I can. Sure. And I do like the movie experience. And I don't know if we talked about it, but I think we did in one podcast. But where Seth Rogen he posted on Twitter like what was like the best like movie experience you've had like at the movie theaters, like where the whole audience was into it. And I think we did talk about it. And he talked about like seeing Jackass for the first time in a theater with a crowd full of people. And like that is like, I mean, some movies, I won't lie, they suck. Like especially like if it's like a quiet movie and you have a loud ass audience and it's supposed to be quiet. But like some movies like Jackass, shit like that, like they're cool. Like Superbad, even like I wouldn't mind seeing Superbad in the theater again, just because like it's cool when everybody's into it, cracking up, like unless you gotta. So I do like that community kind of experience sometimes, but I could definitely see the benefits of staying home too, though. I've gotten used to this staying home. I kind of like it.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And this is kind of one of the
bars are opening. I was like, no.
Yeah, they just reopened today, I think, or something.
Don't take me back.
No, so this is on like one of those movies that I've started to really understand. Like, oh, there's a lot of positives to just fucking chilling at home watching a movie. Like, I legitimately, and we'll get into it. Like, I was shedding tears during this movie. Like, especially during the part where, like, at the end when he like understood the lesson and was like understanding that, you know, life isn't, you know, spark or whatever, and whatever the fuck. We'll get into that more. But
yeah,
it was nice to like be able to feel the utmost emotion I could. And not feel like, who the fuck's looking at me? Where am I? I'm, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was obviously Monica and Victoria were sitting there chuckling at me, or Monica was. Yeah. But yeah, it's a different experience. I think it allows me to truly, like, I can pause it. I can go pee. I can, you know, there's benefits to it. And I just kind of was one of the things I'm like, I don't know. I know there's theaters open. I think people in Southern California tend to think that movie theaters are never coming back and blah, blah, blah. But that's not, they're fucking open. Like, probably more than half of the country still has theaters. I'm pretty sure. I could be totally fucking wrong. But
I know around us there isn't, like, really, because I've been trying to go for a while. And like every time I see there, well, no, I know they were open at Disney for a while, at the downtown Disney and shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying.
Fucking pop off.
I know. I just saw that.
Fuck. Hold on, I got more tape right here. Hold on. God damn it.
You're good. I'm going to keep this in the podcast, too. We got to keep this beautiful, beautiful moment here. This is how we do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck, I'm going to have to just unwrap this shit.
You just hold it like with one hand, like you're a
like
telephone operator. Like your daddy.
God damn it. Sorry, everybody.
You're good.
We got budget issues at Mind Control.
Yeah, so buy a fucking sweater, okay? We need the fucking money.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, yeah. I guess I should mention that if you guys are interested in getting a Mind Control sweater or shirt, they are now available. If you're watching this on YouTube, just underneath the YouTube video, you can literally click and see and browse them. I think it's 20 something for a shirt and 32 or so for a sweater. So, or if you're not watching on YouTube, you could just go to audible484.com and they'll be right there. You got it?
Whatever. We'll let it hang. I'm gonna have to get duct tape or something. This tape ain't working. But whatever. It don't matter.
Maybe you could put your hoodie on and secure it or something. Maybe.
Oh, hey, that's smart, bro. I was thinking that too. I was like, what can I do? I should have had it on the whole time to give it. Oh, boom. You can't. Bro, now it looks brand new.
Yeah. And you look cooler.
Cool. Yeah, new headphones. Cool. All right, what were you saying before? Shit.
I don't even know.
Or my mishap.
So let me try to let's get into the movie a little bit, like parts of it, I guess. We were talking about movie theaters, I think we're kind of ending.
Yeah.
But so I really like, so like you were talking about, there's something to when you watch a cartoon or like a children's movie or family movie, and there's like these really kind of, I would say, risque or fucking adult jokes in it. And I saw that a lot in this movie. But on top of that, it was like more so the deep philosophical meaning behind the movie. And on top of, because, you know, Pixar, Disney, they do that kind of shit. But I think this was super, super, even deeper than deep. It was like an intelligent lesson. Even I learned something from this movie because I wasn't expecting the way that, you know, after why can't I even think of his name, the main character, Joe Gardner, after Joe fucking gets his gets back to Earth with the Earth's pass, even before that, you can kind of feel like, oh, this is not the resolution of the movie. You can see 22 still sad. She throws the fucking thing at him, and you can tell this is not the resolution yet, but it feels like a Disney resolution. He goes back to Earth, he gets his fucking dream come true, and I started tripping out when I was like, what the fuck, what's going on? Like, why is this, what is the resolution? I couldn't figure it out. It's really, really very rare that I can't like figure out for the most part what the lesson of a movie is or how it's going to end. You know what I'm saying? So for me to be surprised that the spark is not your purpose, and when that, that whole idea, what took me by surprise, and it was like, holy shit, this is a deep ass fucking movie, and it was super, I guess, moving, and made me really trip out and think about like, it's super cliche, but I guess like, yeah, the true meaning to life is not necessarily like what you love to do, or, you know, your purpose and what your cliche purpose in life is, you know, it's more so the little things and just, you know, what the movie told. And that was, for whatever reason, hit me kind of hard. I was like, holy shit. Cause it was surprising.
No, dude, I agree. Cause yeah, I feel like the purpose, not even the purpose of life, but like what the movie was trying to say is that, like, you know, like Joe, for instance, obviously, because he's the main character, like a lot of us, like, we want these big things in life. Like, we strive to do this podcast, or we strive to be the best at this or the best at that, or do this, when really, and it's like, that's like our purpose in life. But it's like, no, it's like your purpose in life is literally what you're doing every day. It's waking up next to Monica. It's like watching the show with your kids. It's like that's like, it's every day. Like, you should, like, that's what I got from it, that like we're all always waiting or striving for something, when you should just stop and look around and appreciate just being alive right now, because that's the most important lesson you could ever learn, is like, you don't have anywhere to be. Everything that you need is right here. You just need to work with it, you know? You need to realize that it's there instead of taking it for granted. Like at the end, when he finally goes out again, like, he's not even concerned about the music. Like, he just wants to feel the wind and like feel the little things that we all take for fucking granted. And, you know, like, it made me think a lot too, because I was, like I said, hungover and kind of like in a depressed kind of mood, feeling down. And I did, like, that hit me too. Like, I really like the message of it. That's why, like I was saying, like, the movie wasn't my favorite just because I'm not a big like Disney, but like, I really like the messages in this movie, because like, it did make me feel like, fuck, like, it's so true. And like, I've heard it in other things, you know, it's like, shit, we're always looking for something, but it's like, why don't you just look around what's directly in front of you, you know? Most times it's already there, you know, life is life. It's,
like to
be lived.
Exactly. And I think that they portrayed that really well in the scene with the barber.
Oh, dude, that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it's wild, because like it shows how, I don't know, close-minded, but how selfish kind of that Joe Gardner is as a character, and how in a way, you know, he's trying to just, you know, live his life and accomplish his dreams, and he stays focused and never gives up and shit like that. But in a sense, that like you just said, that it can become an obsession. And even the movie shows that in the like underworld scenes, which were fucking amazing, and I want to talk about too, because how they sounded. Even after you said the Nine Inch Nail, that it was produced by Trent Reznor, and all those metaphysical scenes or whatever. Yeah. I was like, when I watched it the second time, I knew that, and I was like, oh yeah, no wonder you hear these crazy. It sounds like a Nine Inch Nails like song almost, a lot of those scenes, and it's wild.
Yeah.
Cool. But in those scenes, it shows the people who become how their passion can become an obsession, and then they just get lost in the void. That was all these wild parts were fucking awesome, and it was like I said, in the scene with Dez the barber, how he was like, "You never asked, Joe," and they just like, that was his first time ever even getting to know his friend. But they didn't, you know, and then and Dez wanted to be a vet and then becoming a barber, and he was and just being okay with that, and finding a new passion and fulfillment in a new way, and how sometimes people like probably who we are, like Joe Gardner, obsessed with trying to be the best at something and to do something and mean something, that we can just, you know, get lost in that and forget that, you know, it's like the little things are what matter. So it's fucking wild. I cannot believe we're talking about these deep topics from a fucking Pixar movie. Yeah.
No, dude, it was. That's why, like, after watching that, I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty good pick, just because of like, not even like the little details in the movie, but just like the overall message. And I like that you brought that up too, because like, that is one of my favorite parts in the barbershop. And I like at the end when he's like, you know, why haven't you ever told me this before? And he's like, oh, you just never asked. Like, you know, and like he said, I'm glad to talk to you about something other than music. And like, it does show you, like, you can get stuck in this bubble. And then, like you said too, like, I love that too, the place where they would get stuck and the zone were like in the same area. Like, you could be in the zone, which was effort. And then the people stuck were the ones that were like, just, that's what I like too, that like, being in the zone and being great at the piano was all just feeling and effortless. And then when people would get stuck, it wasn't that they were trying too much, you know, like, you know, like they were overthinking. It was like there's a stock market guy. It's like, you know, like,
Mhm.
and like, I don't know, like what I'm trying to say, you know,
I
like
feel you.
Joe was like, you could be in the zone and it's effortless and that's the zone. But then you start thinking too much and overthinking everything and just your whole life becomes about it. And then they become stuck, you know?
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that. I don't know. I don't know how I'm trying to word it,
I
but
feel you.
it's
I
cool
feel
to
you.
see like that, like, you know, to be good at something doesn't mean that it has to consume your life either. It could
Yeah.
also be like, you know, it's just when you get in that zone, like
Yep.
just like even the dude who was helping him, like he wasn't playing guitar thing,
Yeah.
he was fucking spinning the sign, but
Yeah.
he found a rhythm and was in it.
Oh,
Wait, hold on one
wow.
second.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just because yeah, no, yeah, like even him, like he was in the zone and it
That's
wasn't anything special.
that's
He
so
was just in the
wild.
zone, you
I
know?
never even connected that he was in the zone and he was just spinning the sign. I didn't catch that
And it's
even
like, you
after two
know,
watches.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like
That's
watching
wild.
that too, and like you kind of like his character. It kind of shows you like doesn't matter how prestigious it is what you're doing. Like you could find a zone in anything. You'd be fucking super good at your grocery job store or something like
Yeah.
that, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's the message I got from that. Like there's
Yeah, for
nothing wrong
sure.
with that. You're still in a zone and doing something that you're good at. So who
Yeah.
cares if
Mhm.
it's not what most people would think is ideal, you know?
Yep.
It's a good movie. I like the
Yeah.
messages, you
Yeah,
know.
for
It
sure.
was good.
And the second time I watched it, it was like, okay, before I watched it the second time, I was kind of like hesitant too, because it's just like, okay, it's a cartoon movie. I get the idea, you know, whatever the second watch.
Yeah.
But then once I got into it a second time, I was like, oh, there's a lot more to kind of grasp a little bit. But it was, the metaphysical scene, is that what they call them? Metaphysical?
Yeah.
Okay, those scenes and the metaphors that were used there and things like that were insane, dude. Like, I forget which scene it was, but he's just like, I'm not ready, or there's people saying that or some shit like that. But it was like so, I don't know, just deep and just hit me fucking hard because it was so real and like sad and like, how in the fuck and when in the fuck did these movies stop becoming about, you know, finding true love? And then now it's like, not only what is the purpose to life, but what is your actual purpose to life? And what, you know, it goes like 3 layers beneath what the purpose to life is. And it's like, when did this change happen? Because it's just wild to me that it's like that. So it's like, I think this movie was made in a different realm than a lot of the other Pixar movies, I think. But,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I like, you know, I like that they do tackle it though. Just like I like that 22 too. Like I like 22's character is not really a character that I like you were talking about with this idea. It's not really a character I would expect to be in a kids movie because like in the beginning, you know, before the ending where she obviously wants to live, a lot of her is talking about how she just sees life as pointless and like to be a human and live and do what we do every day is so pointless and there's no reason and she has no desire to even live, you know? And I feel like that's pretty dark and nihilistic and, you know, for a kid's movie for the character, you know? And because she is supposed to be a funny, fun character. But if you really think about like the idea she's saying, it's like she's saying there's no point in life. She'd rather just be dead and never live ever, you know? Like, I mean, not dead because she's technically not born, you know, which I like too. I like when she said that, like, I'm not a girl or a person. Like, I'm technically just an idea. Like, I haven't even been put into the world yet, you know? And I think that's cool, you know. It was good, dude. It was
what did you think about how it ended? Like how it's open ended and you don't really know where they are.
So,
you know,
I do think it was. I mean, I know it was a kids movie, so I could definitely see why they did it. But I do think it was a little corny that Joe got a second shot.
I do too. I agree.
I thought it would have been. I mean, it would have been sad, of course, but it would have been cool if he sent 22 off and he just had to stay. It would have been sad, but it would have been like, you know, I was like, why does he get a second chance at life? That doesn't make sense.
I read that they shot that there were like different storyboards and different ideas of how things ended.
Maybe it was too dark that way, you know, because the movie is, like you said, it is dark in a way, you know, and like the metaphysical scenes, like that's
Scary.
what hit me first too was and like the big void that they were looking at, that they were going up the stairs. Like visually, it was like, fuck, this is crazy. And then the music, you know, Frankie's actually the one who noticed. We were watching it the first time, and then once it started, she's like, this sounds really like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Did she?
And I told her, I was like, no way. I was like, they would never fucking do a Disney movie. I was like, no way. and then after we watched it, I started doing the research and I was like, oh shit, they did all the metaphysical parts. I was like, dude, that was a good pickup because I was like, it does sound like that. And then after, because you know they do a lot of soundtracks, you know, but
Oh, okay.
I don't really see them. Yeah, because they did The Social Network. They've done a lot of Bird Box. They've done a lot of movies, but I've never really seen them do like a kids movie. So that's why I was like, oh, no way. And then that other fool, John Batiste, did all the the jazz. Did you watch that NPR thing?
I watched a bit of it. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a bit of it. Yeah.
That shit was fucking. I didn't even know the music, but it was fire, dude. Yeah, he's on this Colbert show. He's like the band leader.
That's where I've seen him before. Okay.
Yeah, he has his band on there. Yeah,
he's dope. He's funny too. Yeah.
I thought that was cool too. The way they. Your face. Okay. I thought it was cool too. The way, I sent you that article, how they animated the Joe's fingers after his fingers. Yeah. Because, dude, that's what I noticed when I watched his little set. There's a part where he gets down on the piano. I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, it does look like that, you know? Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I would love to just get down on the piano like that. Like, I'm so jealous
imagine
of that.
And, like, knowing it so well that you could just zone out and just play whatever. Like,
how long do you think it'll take to learn piano? Like, to play
like that?
I mean, not like that.
That way?
I mean, just be able to play it so well you can kind of just vibe and play however you feel, kind of like a couple of years. Maybe?
I think, yeah. Where you probably got really good, probably like 2-3 years. But I mean, I think like a year, you'd probably be good enough to play. You know,
I would love,
especially if you like worked at it every day. You know, dude, have you seen Whiplash?
I feel like I've heard of that.
It's with Miles Teller. I don't know if you know Miles Teller. He was in a lot of shit for a while, but he actually learned drums for that movie, and it's like about jazz drumming.
Oh, okay.
Bro, maybe you know what? Maybe we'll do a podcast about that one. I think you really like that movie, and it's fucking crazy. And it's all about. And he learned to drum, so the actual scenes where he's drumming are real, but he fucking gets down. It's called Whiplash. It's only it's short too.
It's on Amazon.
It's dope.
I think I've seen it. I think I've seen the
I don't know. For it. Maybe it could be. It came out a couple years ago, so I don't know. It could be on there, yeah. But it just made me think of it because you're saying how long does it take, and I know he learned the drums for that, and he got so good so quick. Yeah. So I bet if you were determined and like you played like a couple hours every day, you'd probably get good in a year, like really good. You know?
I really want to, dude. I was talking to Dado about it, and he's always asking me about like when you're making music, I want to do a track with you and Corey and Yeah. And I told him recently, I'm like, dude, I don't know where I am with music right now. Like I don't really have the urge to make it. I mean, every once in a while I do, and I'll fucking put out a track every few months or whatever. That'll probably always be how it is. But I was telling him, like, I'm kind of more interested in like learning an instrument and like creating music like the way you're supposed to. Maybe not the way you're supposed to, but the way we originally wanted to, you know. But
and to like even focus on like, because for you and me, like since we rap, you know, like a lot of it's lyrics, you know, so actual just focus on the music aspect of it, like you know, like the timing and. And the sound and the rhythm and everything versus like, because lyrics, you know, like obviously you're thinking about those things like timing and sound, but you're also thinking about, does this make sense? Blah, blah, blah. When you're playing music, it don't need to make sense. It just needs to sound good, you know?
And it's not like,
even sound bad at times, you know? Like I feel like free jazz like sounds crazy sometimes. Like you don't even know what's going on, but then they bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I've been noticing a lot that hip hop has so much ego involved in it. So much ego in rap. You just brag. That's what hip hop kind of is in a sense, and it always has been. And it's basically braggadocious shit. Obviously, there's deeper meanings, deeper tracks. But to me, even the idea, literally the physical action of rapping, to me feels so involved and wrapped up in ego. And it's almost like the complete opposite when it comes to something like jazz or playing the piano, because you just get lost in it. And you're not thinking. But with rap, all you're fucking doing is thinking, and the best thinkers always win. So you get what I'm saying?
And I can see that. I can see that with a lot of different music, but I can see what you're saying with hip hop, because hip hop is very like, especially like if you do it like right or you're coming up, like it's very in your face. You know, you want it in your face, and like to be in your face, you got to have some confidence, which is. Comes from ego, you know. But like you said, dude, like I could totally see that. Like jazz is, which is interesting though, because like there would be no hip hop if there was never jazz, and like a lot of music there'd be none, you know. But you're right though, jazz is, it's very like, sorry, my bad. It's just very, but like you're saying, it's very even though you're in a band, it's like everybody also like when, especially like a good jazz band, like the one that he was applying for, like everybody's doing their own thing. So at the same time you're separate, but at the same time you're part of a whole. Yeah. And then because nobody's singing or like standing out in front, like it is cool. Like everybody gets a chance to shine while still not really ever kind of just stepping in the front. And like you said, like there's not as much ego because you're just back there playing. Like you're not fucking rapping or looking at people. You're just you and the instrument, you know, like he does. Like it happens in the movie when he's playing and he apologizes after, and they're like, nah, like that was dope. You know, you got lost in the zone. And that's like what we want, you know.
And there's definitely 100%. I don't want to sound like I'm totally ignorant to it. There's absolutely a way that you can get, you know, in the zone in rap. I've seen you do it the best I've ever seen in real life, probably. Like you get lost in a fucking freestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you get lost in a freestyle and just that is not ego. There is a place where you can find hip hop with no ego, you know?
For sure.
So
yeah,
it's just
but a lot of the like mainstream hip hop and like what you're talking about, like all the shit that you normally hear, like a lot of that is like you know, is ego. But then like you said, you could get in the zone, and then there are also people who are like Kid Cudi, who, you know, like I feel like it's ego, but he's also talking about these things too, you know. And like true. Or like, you know, some artists recognize it, you know.
Dude.
But you're right though. A lot of the shit that's popular now, it's just like ego driven,
dude. If I tap hip hop on Spotify and I go to like the top hip hop, I'm like, this is not hip hop.
It's
like,
not
what the
same.
fuck is this? Can't even understand. It's like, I know this, I sound old as fuck. You can't understand what the fuck they're saying. It's like, it's all just rhythm and melody. I don't know, fucking hip hop sucks right now. But there's still, you got to go to the little bottom other ones, like the little other charts. Real hip hop, and there is definitely a lot of good hip hop, but I don't like
there's
that.
A lot of good people, but
it's like subgenre now. What the hip hop we fuck with is a subgenre almost. Kendrick,
I'm not gonna
maybe.
lie, because of Paul though, like I do listen to like a lot of that shit too, you know. But you're right though, like, but the funniest thing for me though, like I don't even feel like it's almost like the opposite of what these kids think they're, because Paul showed me certain songs, you know, and like they're obviously like the SoundCloud hip hop. But I listened to him and I'm like, bro, like if I didn't know what this was and you showed this to me when I was in middle school, I would have thought this was My Chemical Romance. Like it sounds like that emo music, you know, like Lil Peep and all that sounds like what the emo music, you know, and like this is like a lot of that, like or like Juice WRLD, all that, like it's like this is the hip hop that kids like and shit. And like I fuck with Juice WRLD and shit. But like if you listen to it, I was like, man, this sounds a lot like what like the emo kids were doing back in the day, the scene kids, you know? Like especially the way like you don't have to be a great singer to sing, you know? And like that was like totally like that type of thing. Like you didn't have to sound good. It's just like, and it's also depressing too, you know? Which also I noticed, like I always wonder how much of an effect that has. Cause I feel like when we came up, like, yeah, you had, obviously there's always been depressing music and like hip hop too, but like you had a lot of hip hop, like we came up on Eminem and Kanye and Cudi and shit like that, which is dope. But a lot of these kids are only coming up on like the like Lil Peep, Lil Xan, and like not to talk shit because I don't listen to too much of it, but like if all you're listening to is depression shit all day, like I feel like aren't you just prone to be more depressed? It's like that's all the hip hop is just depressing. And it's like it's not all depressing, you know.
See, that's one side of the hip hop that I wasn't even really aiming. Like I kind of like with the depressing, that little depressing corner. I do. Yeah. But mostly what I'm saying is like it's like future shit, future fucking, you know, fucking what I like future. You know what I'm saying though? Like that braggadocious, the new braggadocious hip hop. Is like it lacks, to me, it just lacks substance for the most part. I'll fuck with it every once in a while, but like I can't listen to it over and over. But I will say that there is this new wave of like depressing hip hop that I do fuck with, and I love Lil Peep. I a lot of his shit, not all of his shit. There is that lane is dope, dude. Call Me When You're Sober Part 2, his album is probably top 10 albums in my opinion, like of all music to me.
All right, I'll listen to it, bro. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, listen to it. It's fucking fire. It came out. That was his first album that came out after he died, and it was like I believe the one he was working on to be like his first legitimate release, like real release. And so you hear a super kind of like, I don't want to say commercialized, but a lot more of like a conceptualized maybe version of Lil Peep. So it's still super depressing, but it's produced so well, and it's like conceptually it's awesome. You'll fuck with that.
Okay, yeah. See, I don't want to come off as like talking shit about all of it because like I like that depressing thing too.
Me too.
Yeah, I just thought about it though, like because like when I was working at the middle school, like I would see like all the kids listening to that, and I was just thinking like, man, like you know, because like but it's true though. You know, never mind. Let me take that back because I think about it when I was in like what I was saying, like in middle school, high school, like. That is how you feel. Like I wanted to listen to depressing shit. Like I wanted to listen to Nick Lachey's Heart Be Broken, you know? I wanted to listen to some depressing ass shit, you know what I mean?
Yes,
so maybe I'll take that back. You know, maybe it's right up the kids' alleys.
No, that's the thing.
Sometimes I think that too. Like, am I just getting old now? Is that why my opinions are changing?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, man, dude, I feel like my parents. Like sometimes I'll say things about Paul's music, and then after I'll think about it, I'm like, why'd I say that to Paul? Like, that's like my dad would have said to me. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm old. I'm like, all right, put it back on, Paul. Let's listen to it. You know.
Well, I mean, what it is, it's not necessarily an old thing. It's just like, I think it definitely has to do with, you know, you connecting to a certain type of music at a certain time because you were a certain way, you were living a certain life, and that music will always connect with you a certain way and remind you of certain feelings. And now you're in a different place, and that type of, you know, whatever, you know, there's just a different.
Yeah.
It's almost like, even like, I wonder like if it has anything to do with like evolution in a sense. Like obviously evolution takes fucking millions of years, but I'm saying like as DNA changes from person to person and as technology takes over more, is that our taste in music as human beings gonna become something we've never even heard of before? Because like, where is humanity at in a sense? Maybe I'm high, but like, I feel like technology is about to change the game, and maybe that is in it and also gonna change the way what we like and enjoy when it comes to music. Like maybe it'll become a lot more, which it already is, robotic and techno and shit. But I don't know. Maybe it becomes Revolution 9, and maybe fucking John was right.
That's what John Lennon always thought. Yeah, that's what he always thought. Nah, but I can see what you're saying, because like the last like, well, I mean, like, because hip hop now is obviously like the new pop. You know, it's like you look at the record charts, like it's like hip hop. You know, but or rap or whatever you want to call it, SoundCloud rap, whatever it is. You know, but fucking yeah, like the last I feel like big change in music in general was like the big electronic boom. Yeah, that like we kind of seen, like, because electronic obviously has been here since like the 80s and like synthesizers and shit. But definitely, you know, like 2000s is when you saw fucking, like, when we started raving, it was like huge boom, and that kind of took over for a long time. And obviously it's like all this new electronics, so it's like, yeah, what would be the next music boom? But you know what I actually kind of see going on, and I've been seeing it for a while, ever since To Pimp a Butterfly, and I'm seeing it more now because the soul too is jazz coming back. You know, because I feel like for a long time jazz was dead. There wasn't a lot of people who even would talk about it, you know, like, besides obviously there were it's obviously been a niche and a community of people who listen to it always and love it, and a lot of people do, you know. But I'm just saying, like, you know, now I feel like, especially because of movies like Soul, and then like I what I say, right, like To Pimp a Butterfly, things using more, like Chance the Rapper does using a lot more horns and shit. Like I can see, you know, like, and now like, you know, more about like you know who Kamasi Washington is, or some of these guys like this John Batiste, like they're becoming more upfront, even though they do just jazz music, which is kind of cool, you know. I would like to see it get big again, because me and Frankie went to one jazz club one time a long time ago, years ago, and that shit was fucking dope. It was in Venice Beach, and it was like underground. It was just me and her, and that shit was fucking dope. Like, you know, they were just fucking playing, and like the bar was right there, and it was hot and sweaty down there, and they were just literally played for like 3.5 hours, and we're just fucking getting down on the piano, the horns. I was like, dude, this is so cool. Like, and it just feels so freeform. Like, you don't, like, it's like you don't know what to expect at all, you know? Like, it's like there's not like a set song list. It's like they're just fucking playing, which is cool, you know? And I think it's like something that's missing. Like you said, it's missing in a lot of music. Like a lot of hip hop's ego. It's not about getting lost in it. It's about, the time. Like, I am not even going to say that many words. Like, it's just going to be like very few, you know, versus like, that's why I like Kendrick, you know? I like someone who can make it commercial sounding and like, damn, I want to party this. But at the same time, like, you sit down and look at the lyrics, you're like, oh shit, this is way deeper than just a party song, you know? Like swimming pools, like people were fucking drinking, popping pills, partying in the swimming pools, but you fucking sit there and read the lyrics, you're like, he's talking shit about that, you know? Not even talking shit, but like, no, shit's dangerous.
A lot of that Section 80 album, he kind of does that.
Yeah, you know, and it's like on one end, like, you can listen to, like, because I have listened and party to it, but then like you listen to it and it's like he's talking, you know, he's talking, but that's why I like him too. Like, you know, like I feel like there's not much bias. Like, even when it sounds like it's biased, like if you actually read the lyrics, he's not really talking shit this way or the other. He's literally expressing the way he views it and the way he sees it and the way it affects the people around him, you know? And it's more like just like introspective, I guess, or I don't know.
For sure. I think what, like you said, that Kendrick does it in a way where like it's commercial, but it's also super deep. It reminds me of the fucking quote from Green Lights, which will, this is the next episode for everybody to know. Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey book. When he says, or somebody says, the best way to teach is to teach the way most understood. Easiest way. I have it written down. Now I have to get it before I fuck it up.
Yeah. I know what you. Get it if you have it.
Yeah,
it's like teaching.
I have it right here.
Teaching is the best, like when it's easiest understood.
The best way to teach is the way that's most understood. So yeah, I think that he does that very fucking well. But yeah, it's definitely, it's wild, man. I don't know. I don't even know.
I like how we've branched off.
I know. I don't know where we are.
But I mean, I think it's cool because it all does come back to that jazz. Like that's how we got to it. Like
do you remember being at Robbie's house or Mixer's house and we fucking were?
Oh, yeah.
He was on what was he on, the guitar?
Yes, that night we were all drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I was one of the best moments. I remember that when that night I was like addicted to that. I wanted to keep doing that.
No, dude. Exactly. Like if every studio session could have been like that, like that'd be dope. Like just to have a bunch of instruments. See, that's the problem though, is like neither of us really play that well. Like, but if one of us or both of us actually played and we did the rap, like we could literally sit in a room with a piano and then drums and just fucking just do some shit. Like that would be dope. Like,
I remember there were times. I remember there were times where I don't know if you were there, who the fuck was there. I just remember there were times when I was like, or certain people were like, fuck, that we were on psychedelics or whatever. And I remember people, maybe me, I don't really know. I just have this memory of somebody wanting to like chant or like do a beat, and then we just all kind of get caught in it in like a psychedelic way. But then always there was somebody's like fucking ego that would pop up and be like, oh, I don't want no. It was like pushed you away because you have that is vulnerability in a way, to get lost in a group chant or a group. Because it's silly and stupid, but it looks that way. But I remember specifically being on psychedelics, and even probably my ego got involved and was like, "Oh, this is weird. I feel weird. I feel insecure about it." But I also remember in the few seconds that me or whoever did get lost in that psychedelic moment of music and chanting, and we're just carrying together in a rhythm and in a group environment, was like this intense, like holy shit. And then it totally reminds me of that night with Robbie, and it totally reminds me of this movie when he gets lost. And it's just like this movie kind of definitely pushed me to want to learn an instrument and go down that lane, especially as in my older age. I can't rap about my dick size anymore and bitches. I just can't.
Can't do it. Nah, but dude, that actually would be pretty cool though, because like you see they do that in like ayahuasca like ceremonies, where like I've always thought that was interesting too, because like normally for us, like we, tripped festivals or we've tripped at homes, but we're listening to music through speakers, like to have it all be live, like and percussion or voices or anything. Yeah, even if it doesn't sound good, just to be just bumping on bongos, like butt naked, like Matthew McConaughey. You know what I mean, dude? Like that would be dope. I could get down with that.
For sure.
But dude, I've been thinking that a lot too. I've actually been breaking out the piano and guitar and been actually started last week. I've been trying to do 30 minutes on each day,
You took piano lessons for a while, no?
Nah, guitar lessons. Piano though,
never,
But the piano makes it easier. It makes a lot more sense than the guitar,
That's what I've heard. If you learn piano, like that's the first instrument you should learn or something, piano, and then it's easier to learn everything else.
Yeah, because you can actually see the way the key, because like on the guitar it's weird because of the strings, so the keys are all different places, like versus like the piano it's all linear, like you can see the C, A through C, or A, whatever, you know what I mean,
dude. I took a piano class in 9th grade, and how tight is that I had a fucking piano class in 9th grade, but I remember hating it. And as much as I was,
you were in band, weren't you?
In band? Oh yeah, that was 4th grade. That was another a very sad moment of my life. Yes, I was in band for everyone listening in 4th grade. But fucking no, but yeah, it was like it trips me out to think now that in 9th grade, I as much as I was into music even then, I had a class that was paid for where I learned piano, and I barely got by with a C, and everything else I had Fs. But in that class, I actually gave enough of a fuck and was interested enough to have a C. But I remember one of my teachers telling me too, like, this is obviously something you're interested in, but you need to understand that if you don't get passing grades in your other classes too, you're gonna get kicked out of the fucking school. And I was just like, man, fuck you, stupid ass, dumbass little kid. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just wild to me. Like I had that opportunity, and then, but as a
But I mean,
child,
honestly though, too, like I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking talking out of my ass, but I feel like teaching yourself piano is probably way more valuable than
That's
I
true.
think the classes would be valuable if you already knew how to play, because then you can start putting the theory behind what you're doing. But I feel like it's a little bit, which I hate to keep bringing it up because I know we're going to do the podcast on it. It's a bit like what Matthew McConaughey talked about how he was landing roles and doing well, and then the second he started taking acting classes and putting theory into it, that it was like, oh, not as many roles are coming his way, and he's like, I realized like you got to add yourself to, like, it's cool to know the theory for sure, but you got to know what you're doing first too, which I feel like with something like piano or any instrument, like, because people do it all the time. They go to school for music and they don't do anything with it, because it's like, if you're only focused on theory and the educational or the academic side of it, like, even if you learn to play, it's always going to be academic and educational, versus like that dude from Soul, like when you see him play in the movie, or like on the fucking that NPR Tiny Desk, like there are parts where like he's playing, like I always think that too, it's like some parts like in the movie they don't even sound like traditional, like it doesn't even sound like it's coming together, but then somehow it does. And I feel like that doesn't come from like academic shit, that comes from like the whole point, not the whole point, but a big part of Soul, like being in that zone, that feeling, knowing what you're doing so well that you can let yourself space out and just do it.
There's actually a beautiful scene or like shot where he picks up his music off his piano thing and moves the music and puts all the things that 22 had like collected.
Oh yeah,
he lined them up, and that's like, it was fucking beautiful. They just, I love the shot of him moving. It's so subtle, but just like, that's such a big deal, just moving the fucking music notes out of the way to put these random items, and then he just starts getting lost and just playing this beautiful fucking amazing thing.
Get in the zone, right?
Got in the zone. So yeah.
It's a cool movie, dude. I did like it, and I like it that it was something different for, I feel like, the podcast.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a little bit different. So we do a lot of psychedelic shit, a lot of drug shit.
Well, this was kind of super psychedelic though. Like even visually, sure. Like like I could imagine if I watched this tripping, I might be fucking wild.
No, you're right, dude. Like that one dude, the one that would like lose, the one that was coming after them, he would lose shape, and he would just see him like traveling like light. I was like, dude, that's pretty dope. Like I really like that. It did remind me though, when he got to death, I meant to say this earlier, it reminded me very much of I don't know if you ever played Pikmin on like GameCube. It was like a GameCube game, but it was very it's very like, I don't know, the animation reminded me of that. Very just, I don't know, weird. I wish you'd played it, otherwise then you'd understand.
I feel you. I loved it. I loved the idea of the Jerry's and how he said, "Where am I?" and they're just like, "Well, you're in this complicated blah blah blah," and then he was like, "What?" and then he said, I don't know, something. It was just like there was a lot of complicated verbiage used, and it was like I didn't even understand a lot of the things that they were saying. So it's like kind of interests me to like really like maybe watch a YouTube video of somebody like really explaining like what the maybe deeper theories are of where he is or where he's not, but I don't know if it even goes that deep. But either way, I like the fucking movie. I really liked it. I'm glad we fucking did it, man. This is a fun one.
Yeah, no, it was. There's actually a part. Let me just see. Oh yeah, this is. I mean, I should have brought this up earlier when we were talking about it, but I think it was like one of the lines that kind of like hit me the most, and is when Joe goes to his mom to fix his suit, and they finally have the big talk. But right before the mom gets sympathetic with him, he just says like, "Oh, I'm just afraid if I died tonight, my life would amount to nothing."
Yeah,
she wants to help him out, after that, and like it's such a deep part. But then I like though how they worked through that towards the end though, and like showed like, nah, like even if he did die, like life's not nothing. Like the fact that you lived at all is great. Like you, and it's like it comes back to that. We take it for granted. Like he feels, even though he's been alive for 30 something years, has a mom who loves him, has people in his life who like him, he still feels, oh, if I don't accomplish this goal, my life's nothing. And it's like, it's such a sad thing to feel. And a lot of people do feel that way. I felt that way. Like if I don't do anything with myself and I just live in this apartment the next couple of years, have I done nothing with my life, and it's like, but not like you still living every day,
Yeah, exactly. So there was the part where him and 22 first meet, and then they're in like they're looking back at his life, but not his life. They're looking at the life of the person that they think that he is or whatever. And then he's like, and then she said, "Is there or he says, is there a way to look back at a different life?" And then she has him like put his hands on like this crystal ball thing, and it becomes his life. And I think it's more the way he is looking back at his own life, because he sees a lot of sad shit happening, just him getting turned down. And then he says
sitting in front of the TV, being late.
And he says at the end, at that part, he says, "My life was meaningless." And it was like, that shit was hard, because it's like, this is a depiction of a dead man looking back at his life and having nothing but regret of it. And it was like that one hit deep.
Bro,
go ahead.
No, go if you were still going. No. I was gonna say something about that, but go.
No, go. I'm not going. I was gonna bring.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, dude, that part hit me too, because I was thinking about it when I watched it, just because, like I said, I was kind of down already, thinking like, fuck, dude, like if you did have a chance to just like go into a space like that and just look at up until this point in your life, just look at moments from your life, like how would I feel about it? You know, like I was like, how would I feel like?
Which ones would you choose to think about? You know, which ones would you choose to envision? Which moments? You know.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like, you know, even if I were to view all the bad ones, it just started making me think too. I'm like, fuck, dude, like I don't know, you know, I've never really, I've read about people doing things like that and talking about thinking that way, but I've never really thought that way about, like, you know, lay your life out now and look at it and like, what don't you like about yourself? What do you like about yourself? And, you know, like if you're able to actually go and look at those things, like, how much would it change me? Or would I be the same piece of shit? You know, like, I don't know. It also made me think like, fuck, dude, there are things I wouldn't even want to see again, you know, like, you know, especially like things that I've done, you know? So I'm like, fuck, you know, it just made me think like, man, if I could look back on my life, like would I feel the same way he does, you know, like at this moment, like it was just deep, like, you know, it did hit me too. So that's why I like the ending though. Cause I was like, yeah, you know, it's true. Like, fuck that. Every day you're living, you got, you know, you got some friends or family, you're already doing better than most people, you know. It's like, so it's I feel like we got it good. And you and me, I think you talked about it before, I feel like there's just, we're so biologically used to having issues that now that our lives we don't have to deal with trying to live and survive, we focus on other things to make issues out of, you know.
Because we're used to being fucking terrified of being eaten by saber-toothed tigers and fucking stomped by mastodons and shit, but now we don't have that, so we just fucking create these fucking bullshit ideas of bullshit in our mind that aren't even fucking real, and we're just fucking beating ourselves up every day because we're fucking bored. But one thing I did want to say, I want to make sure that I thought it was really dope, the visual aspect of the scene where it was like 22 lost in like despair, and it was like this sandy fucking sandstorm, and it was dark, and it was like basically a depiction of like anxiety and depression in a way, and it was like, wow, that's such a amazing, beautiful way of putting it, because it is that. Just, I'm meaningless. I have nobody. I have no goals. I'm not important. And it's just this whirlwind of ideas and sand. Just, you don't see anything, and you have all these ideas of people and things yelling at you and talking down to you, and then you're just agreeing with them and just like lost. It was just a beautiful, really great way, I thought, of visually depicting that.
Yeah, no, when you brought it up, I liked it too, because like I guess I knew what they were talking about, but like I don't know, it made more sense the way you said it, like how it was like when it started to consume their lives, it was a bad thing, you know? Like, it's like, even if it wasn't initially a bad thing and it was something they loved, once you let it consume and take over every aspect of you, it is, you know? Because then you miss out on everything else in life that's right in front of you.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Fucking beautiful. You guys check out Soul. If you check it out, I don't think you guys have made it to this part of the podcast if you haven't watched it yet. But I loved it. Great movie. Great discussion, man. If you guys, you guys should check us out on Instagram. I'm at audible_484. Oh no, we have the Mind Control Podcast Instagram now.
Yes. I haven't put up anything. I was going to do it for this first episode is when I was going to put it up, you know?
So it's Mind Control Podcast, right? That's the Instagram?
Yeah. At Mind Control Pod. Yes, it is at Mind Control Podcast. Yeah.
So you guys go on there, give us a follow. Anything else you want to add, brother?
Yeah. You know, I don't want to add this. Well, actually, you know, kind of, I want to add this. There was a comment you sent me about somebody saying that we should do Mandy.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking we should maybe I don't know if that person's
Honor
going to
that.
watch this episode since it's the next episode. Yeah, maybe give them because I'd be down because we do have we have Matthew McConaughey next, and then we have True Detective and I Love You, Honey Bear.
Mhm.
But I'd be down right after to do Mandy.
I'm down.
You know,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then like maybe YouTube user who said it next episode will have a date. You
Let
know,
me see.
but for sure
We
date.
got to
Or
give
you
him a
can add
shout out. Yeah, let me give him a shout out. I got the thing right here somewhere. I should have it somewhere. I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yes. Let me see. I should have it. It wasn't even that long ago.
No, it was like recent.
send
I
it.
don't know where the fuck. I can't find it now.
Okay, here it is. It's Blocka Indie House.
Blocka Indie House.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Thank you for the comment, guys. Anybody who comments, we're gonna try to get back to like every. We might as well just get back to every single comment because there's so little. We can just So any comments, any questions you guys have, leave a comment in the YouTube video, or I think you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify like that, and you can hit us up there.
Yeah, you can.
Or the Instagram.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching and listening. Yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week.